we have a very special guest.
Wonderful.
He is known for turning straw into gold,
Oh, yes.
pulling swords from stone,
Of course, of course.
and oh yeah, being a bit of a conversational wizard himself.
You know it.
Please welcome the one, the only Merlin.
Greetings, one and all. Delighted to be here.
Merlin, we're so excited to have you.
Thank you, thank you.
You know, we've been diving deep into these sources you've provided,
Yeah.
and I have to say,
It
they're incredible.
Ah.
You've got all these fascinating techniques and strategies,
Yes.
and you're calling it people's foreplay.
Yes.
I mean, is that what they called it back in Camelot?
Well, let's just say the name has been modernized, but the principles are timeless. Think of it as laying the groundwork for any great conversation.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Good, good.
Let's break it down.
Yes.
What's the first step in this people's foreplay?
proximity?
Proximity.
It's like planting a seed.
Okay.
You need the right soil nearby for it to grow.
Okay.
You can't expect to strike up a conversation from across a crowded room.
Yeah.
Get closer. Position yourself within a reasonable distance of the person you'd like to connect with.
So no more shouting across a banquet hall then.
Precisely.
Makes sense.
Yes.
What's the next step?
Signals.
Signals.
Observe their body language.
Okay.
Are they open and approachable? Are their arms uncrossed? Are they making eye contact? Are they smiling? These are the green lights that signal they're open to interaction.
So it's not just about physical proximity, it's about sensing that welcoming energy, right?
Precisely. And that leads us beautifully into the third element, eye contact.
Okay.
Studies have shown that even a brief moment of eye contact triggers the release of oxytocin, the hormone associated with trust and connection.
Wow.
It's like casting a subtle enchantment that builds rapport before a word is even spoken.
So a simple glance can be the start of a powerful connection.
Absolutely.
Fascinating. Okay, Merlin, what's the final ingredient in this people's foreplay potion?
A smile.
Okay.
A genuine warm smile that reaches your eyes.
Uh-huh.
It's disarming, sets a positive tone, and signals that you're approachable and friendly.
So we've got proximity signals, eye contact, and a smile.
Yes.
These are like the foundational spells
Indeed.
for setting the stage for a great conversation.
Think of it as weaving a subtle web of enchantment that draws people in and makes them feel comfortable.
Okay.
It's about creating an atmosphere of warmth and openness where conversation can flow naturally.
Merlin, this is brilliant.
Oh.
You know, I've always struggled with approaching new people,
I see.
but these 4 steps seem so simple
Yes.
and actionable.
Absolutely.
I feel like I could actually try this at the next gathering I attend.
You should.
I think I will.
Practice makes perfect, even for a seasoned wizard like myself.
Okay.
But what's truly magical is what happens next.
Okay.
Once you've set the stage, it's time to open the circle and start the conversation.
Okay. Merlin, spill the enchanted beans.
Yeah.
How do we actually start a conversation without feeling awkward or forced?
There are 2 spells I find particularly effective.
Right.
The first is what I call the introduction spell.
Right.
It's all about simplicity and relatability. Start with a friendly greeting, a hello or good evening, introduce yourself, and then ask a universal question like, where are you from? Or what brings you here?
You make it sound so easy.
It can be.
I love how those questions are open-ended.
Yes.
And invite the other person to share something about themselves. It's not about trying to be clever or witty.
No.
It's about genuine curiosity.
Exactly. And that genuine interest is what truly sets the stage for a meaningful connection.
Yes.
Now, the second spell I recommend is called triangulation. Imagine you and the other person are 2 points of a triangle.
Okay.
And the third point is something you both share an interest in, a painting at a gallery, a topic being discussed, even a particularly delicious-looking dessert.
So instead of focusing on ourselves, we find something in the environment that we can both connect to.
Precisely.
Okay.
That shared focus becomes a springboard for conversation. It eases the pressure of coming up with something clever to say
Yeah.
and allows you to bond over a common interest.
I see.
It's like finding a shared spell book in a vast library.
That's such a great analogy.
Thank you.
It feels less intimidating than trying to come up with the perfect opening line.
Indeed.
So we've set the stage with the people's foreplay and opened the circle with either an introduction or a shared focus.
Yes.
What happens next? How do we keep the conversational magic alive?
That's where the true enchantment begins.
Okay.
One of the most potent ingredients in keeping a conversation flowing is the power of shared experiences.
Like if I'm at a coffee shop and struggling to decide between a latte and a cappuccino, And the person next to me is having the same dilemma.
Yes.
That shared experience of indecision
Exactly.
could be a great conversation starter.
It creates an instant sense of camaraderie.
Right.
Are you also overwhelmed by the sheer number of choices? You might ask.
Yeah.
Suddenly you're not strangers, but allies united in your shared bewilderment.
And then maybe you discover you both prefer tea.
Exactly.
It's amazing how those small shared moments can break the ice.
They can.
But what if there's no obvious shared experience?
Mm.
How do we find that common ground?
Here's a secret passed down through generations of wise wizards.
Okay.
Don't aim to be interesting. Aim to be interested.
Ooh, I like that.
Genuine curiosity is the most powerful spell you can cast in any conversation.
So instead of trying to impress someone with our own stories, we should focus on drawing out their stories.
Yes.
Ask thoughtful questions.
Yes.
Really listen to their answers.
Exactly. People love to feel heard and understood. Yeah. And when you create that space for them to share the conversation, naturally flows like a river finding its course.
This is so insightful, Merlin. It makes so much sense.
Good. Good.
Okay, we're listening intently, asking engaging questions.
Yes.
But at some point, don't we need to share something about ourselves too?
Of course.
How do we find that balance?
It's like a graceful dance, a back and forth exchange.
Okay.
You listen attentively, offer your own insights and experiences when relevant,
Okay.
and always circle back to their perspective.
Right.
The key is to strike a balance between sharing and listening, ensuring both voices are heard.
The conversational tango.
Haha, precisely.
I love it. But let's be honest, Merlin.
Yes.
Sometimes, even with the best intentions, conversations can feel a bit flat.
Flat.
Like they're missing that extra spark.
Yeah.
How do we inject a bit of magic, make them more enjoyable?
I see.
Do you have any secret potions for that?
You're ready for a touch of levity.
I am.
Humor is indeed a powerful potion. A well-placed quip, a witty observation, a shared moment of laughter. These can transform a mundane interaction into a memorable one.
So it's like casting a happiness spell.
Haha, in a way, yes.
I'm all for that.
Good.
But how do we use humor effectively without seeming like we're trying too hard?
The key is to keep it light, natural,
Okay.
and relevant to the conversation.
Okay.
For example, if someone mentions they're from a rainy city,
Yeah.
you might say with a playful wink, so you must be an expert at dodging raindrops.
That's perfect.
Ah!
It's relatable, lighthearted,
Yes.
and doesn't derail the conversation.
Exactly.
But not all of us are natural comedians.
Right.
What if we're just not funny?
Worry not. Humor isn't about delivering stand-up routines. It's
Right.
about bringing a touch of playfulness to the interaction.
Okay.
A genuine laugh, even an awkward chuckle, can work wonders.
So it's about embracing those shared moments of amusement, those little bursts of joy that lighten the mood.
Precisely. Now, even the most magical conversations must eventually come to an end. Let's talk about how to exit gracefully without feeling like we're abruptly cutting off the magic.
Because I've definitely fumbled my way through some awkward goodbyes.
I understand.
What's the secret to ending things smoothly without feeling abrupt?
Subtlety is key.
Okay.
You can shift the focus to future plans, saying something like, "What are you up to this weekend? I'm planning a family game night." This gently signals that the conversation is winding down while expressing continued interest in their life.
That's smooth.
It
It's
is.
like a soft landing rather than a crash landing.
Exactly.
What are some other graceful exit strategies?
You can always mention a time constraint like, "It's been great chatting, but I have a meeting I need to run to."
Okay.
Or simply express gratitude for the conversation, saying something like, "This has been really insightful. Thanks for sharing your thoughts."
And of course, never underestimate the power of using their name.
Oh, yes, a classic.
It was great talking to you, Sarah. Enjoy your weekend.
Yeah.
It adds a personal touch and shows you were truly listening.
Indeed. Remember, even in saying goodbye, we're still practicing the art of connection.
Merlin, this has been absolutely incredible.
Oh.
We've learned so much already, from setting the stage with the people's foreplay to opening the circle, keeping things flowing, and even exiting gracefully.
Wonderful.
I feel like I'm already leveling up my conversational skills.
Excellent.
But I hear there's one more powerful technique up your sleeve.
Yes.
The mysterious ping pong method.
The ping pong
I
method.
have to admit, the name is intriguing. It is. Does this involve actual ping pong paddles? Because I'm surprisingly good with a backhand.
Well, I applaud your athletic enthusiasm. No paddles are required for this technique. Imagine a ping pong match.
Okay.
The players volley the ball back and forth,
Right.
keeping it in play. The ping pong method works similarly.
Okay.
The ball, in this case, is the conversation topic. And your goal is to keep it flowing between you and your conversational partner.
Okay, so instead of dominating the conversation,
Yes.
we should focus on returning the ball to our partner's court, so to speak.
Precisely. But it's not just about blindly hitting the ball back.
Okay.
It's about strategically guiding the conversation towards areas where your partner feels comfortable and knowledgeable.
Okay.
Remember, the goal is to make them feel like a star player, not trap them in an endless loop of volleys.
So it's about setting them up for a conversational slam dunk.
Uh-huh. I like that analogy.
I like it. But how do we do that in practice? Could you give us an example of the ping pong method in action?
Certainly. Imagine you've just asked someone, where are you from? And they reply, I'm from Tokyo. Instead of launching into your own travel tales of Tokyo, try this. Tokyo. I've always been fascinated by the cherry blossoms in spring. Do you have a favorite spot to see them?
I see what you're doing there.
Yes.
You're taking their answer and transforming it into an open-ended question that invites them to share their expertise and experiences.
Exactly. You're keeping the conversational ball in their court, allowing them to shine and feel heard. You're demonstrating genuine interest in their world, not just waiting for your turn to talk.
It's like we're saying, tell me more about yourself. I'm genuinely curious.
I love it. Good.
But what if their response is a bit lackluster? What if they just say, yeah, the cherry blossoms are pretty cool.
Haha, I see.
How do we keep the ping pong rally going?
That's where observation and adaptability come into play.
Okay.
If they seem hesitant or unenthusiastic about a particular topic, gently steer the conversation towards something else they might be more passionate about.
Okay.
Remember, conversation is a dance, not a dictation.
So it's about reading their cues,
Yes.
their energy,
Exactly.
and adjusting our approach accordingly.
Precisely.
It's like being a conversational chameleon.
Ha, I like it.
But what are the key signals we should be looking for? How do we know if we're hitting the mark or need to change direction?
Pay close attention to their body language.
Okay.
Are they leaning in, eyes sparkling, eager to share? Or are they looking away, voice monotone,
Yeah.
offering short, closed-off responses?
So if they're practically buzzing with excitement,
Yes.
we're on the right track.
You are.
But if they seem like they'd rather be anywhere else,
Haha.
it's time to switch gears.
It is.
Got it. This is all so insightful, Merlin.
Oh, good.
But I have to admit, this ping pong method,
Yes.
it sounds a bit manipulative.
Manipulative.
Like we're trying to subtly control the conversation.
Yeah. I understand your concern. But the ping pong method is not about manipulation.
Okay.
It's about creating a genuinely enjoyable and engaging experience for everyone involved. It's about fostering connection, not control.
Okay.
Think of it as collaborative magic, where each participant contributes to the enchantment.
So it's about approaching the conversation with a genuine desire to connect,
Yes.
to learn about the other person,
Exactly.
not just to steer the conversation to our liking.
Precisely. The ping pong method is simply a tool.
Right.
And like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill. The intent behind it is what truly matters.
Okay, that makes sense. We're not trying to turn people into conversational puppets.
Yeah, no.
We're simply trying to create a space where they feel comfortable and empowered to share their stories and perspectives.
Exactly. And when people feel heard and understood, the conversation naturally flows and genuine connections are formed. It's like magic, but it's also just good old-fashioned human connection.
Speaking of magic, Merlin, I think it's time to weave in another crucial element of conversation. Authenticity.
Authenticity. Yes, a vital ingredient.
Sometimes it feels easier to just nod and agree with everything
I understand.
to avoid conflict or awkwardness.
Yes.
But your teachings emphasize the importance of being true to ourselves.
You are wise to raise this point.
Thank you.
Authenticity is the heart and soul of any meaningful connection.
Okay.
It's perfectly acceptable to have different opinions,
Right?
to disagree respectfully. In fact, those moments of genuine disagreement, when handled with grace and respect, can often lead to the most fascinating and insightful conversations.
So how do we strike that balance? How do we express our own thoughts and feelings without turning a friendly chat into a verbal duel?
It's all about being mindful of our tone and delivery.
Okay.
We can disagree without being disagreeable. For example, imagine someone says, rainy days are so romantic, don't you think?
Okay.
And let's say you're not particularly fond of rain. Instead of blurting out, no, I hate rain, try something like, they can be quite cozy, but I have to admit, I'm more of a sunshine and picnic type.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
You're acknowledging their perspective.
Yes.
while politely expressing your own.
Exactly.
It's like a conversational Tai Chi move,
Haha. I like that.
deflecting the energy without creating resistance.
Precisely. It keeps the conversation flowing in a positive direction. Remember, the objective is not to win an argument,
Right.
but to connect with another human being.
Well said, Merlin.
Yeah.
But even with the best intentions, sometimes conversations reach a point where they feel forced or uncomfortable.
Yes, I understand.
How do we gracefully exit a conversation that's starting to fizzle?
Subtlety and kindness are your allies here.
Okay.
One approach is to gently shift the focus to the future. You might say, "What are your plans for the weekend?" "I'm thinking of trying out that new bakery everyone's been talking about."
Okay.
This subtly signals that the conversation is winding down
Right.
while expressing interest in their life.
That's so smooth.
Haha, it can be.
It's like a graceful fade out rather than an abrupt cut.
Indeed.
What are some other elegant exit strategies?
You could mention a time constraint,
Right.
like, "It's been lovely chatting, but I have a meeting I need to prepare for."
Right.
Or simply express your appreciation for the conversation, saying something like, "This has been truly insightful. Thanks for sharing your thoughts."
And of course, we never forget the magic of using their name.
Ah, yes, a classic touch.
It was wonderful talking to you, David. Enjoy your weekend.
Oh, yes.
It's a small gesture that goes a long way in leaving a positive final impression.
Indeed. Even in parting, we can leave a lingering trace of magic.
Merlin, I'm blown away by all these incredible insights.
Okay.
We've learned so much about setting the stage, opening the circle, keeping things flowing, sprinkling in humor, exiting gracefully.
Now, before we bid farewell, I want to touch upon one final crucial aspect of communication, one that weaves together all the threads we've explored today.
Okay, Merlin, I'm all ears. Lay it on us.
It's the simple yet profound power of a kind heart.
Okay.
All the techniques, strategies, and spells in the world pale in comparison to the genuine warmth, empathy, and respect we bring to our interactions.
I love that, Merlin. It's like you're saying that true conversational magic comes from within.
Precisely.
It's not just about the words we say,
No.
but the intention behind them.
Imagine approaching each conversation as an opportunity to create a tiny spark of connection, a moment of shared humanity.
So it's not about mastering manipulation or becoming a smooth-talking charmer.
No.
It's about recognizing the inherent worth and dignity of every person we encounter.
Yes.
Whether it's a fleeting exchange with a barista
Right.
or a deep conversation with a lifelong friend.
Beautifully said. Remember, every interaction, no matter how brief, has the potential to leave a lasting impact.
Yeah, it's a powerful reminder that we're all connected
We are.
and that our words have the power to uplift, inspire, and create a ripple effect of positivity.
Indeed. Now, as you venture forth into the world armed with these conversational insights, remember this. The most magical conversations are often the ones we least expect. A chance encounter at a bookstore, a brief chat with a neighbor, a heartfelt conversation with a stranger on a train.
Yeah.
These moments can blossom into something extraordinary if we approach them with an open heart and a willingness to connect.
It's like you're saying that the world is full of untapped magic waiting to be discovered in the everyday moments we often take for granted.
Exactly. Now go forth and weave your magic.
Right.
Remember, the most potent spells are often the simplest. A genuine smile, a listening ear, a kind word.
Merlin, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and humor with us today.
My pleasure.
This has been a truly transformative experience.
Wonderful.
And to all our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the art of conversation.
Farewell.
Until next time,
Mm.
keep those conversational sparks flying.